right now, I have one thing every business needs most. Attention. Think about it. We swipe and scroll past stuff all day. But when we're driving, cooking, and working out, we're also listening. That's the magic of audio at iHeart. We're in your next customer's ears while they're living life and listening, just like you are right now. So get your customers to listen up today using radio, digital, and podcasts. Visit iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Florida Georgia Line. Talk about how you know when you're doing it right.
You know, we said years ago we were on the Q Rush. I remember we were talking. We had an off day. We were doing some riders around stuff, and you said hopefully one day we'll be able to walk around, pretty much anywhere. That means you're doing something right. So thank God for blessing us and our fans, man. Can't talk enough about them.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Florida Georgia Line and all your
Tags, man. Have a great summer.
Number one on your car radio preset and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. WINZA in Miami, WMIB-FM HD2 Fort Lauderdale. Free never sounded so good. Here's what you need to know on Fox Sports 940 Miami.
After a gut-wrenching fight for overtime loss last night in Game 4 to even the Stanley Cup Final at 2 games apiece, the Florida Panthers got back on a plane this morning, bound for Edmonton ahead of tomorrow's Game 5. The Cats now face an Oilers team that's regained home ice advantage, and in the championship round, Blues have won 20 of the last 26 cups when the series is tied at 2 or better. The puck drops at 8. In front of a lot of media, Inter Miami CF held its final training session before tomorrow night's opener of the Club World Cup at Hard Rock Stadium, where the Herons will meet Al Ahly. Jordi Alba did not practice this morning and isn't expected to dress for the match. Yannick Bright and David Ruiz worked on the side and each his questions. The Marlins opened the final leg of their 9-game road trip, beginning a 3-game series in Washington tonight against the Nationals. And Cabrera is set to take the hill for the Fish. Coverage here on Fox Sports 940 Miami begins at 6. And the NBA Finals continues this evening in Indianapolis, where the Pacers try to take a commanding 3-1 lead, entering Game 4 against Oklahoma City. Even though they're trailing in the series, the Thunder are the favorites on the road tonight and in the series. I'm Eric Rodriguez, Fox Sports 940 Miami.
Broadcasting live from the Fox Sports 940 Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys Studios. Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
1-0 pitch. Stowers cracks that one out to center and deep. Siri is back. He looks up and it's gone. The Marlins waste no time. Kyle Stowers with a 2-run shot, and they take a 2-0 lead in the first.
Miami Marlins baseball is on deck.
2-1. That kicks away from Rodriguez. Hill breaks for the plate. There will be no throw. And on a wild pitch, the Marlins walk it off again. 1-2. Conine lifts out to left field. Tommy Pham working back to the warning track. So is Sawinski. They look up and it's gone. Griffin Conine to left center. And we're tied at 2 in the 7th.
Marlins on deck. Brought to you by ADT, the official smart security partner of the Miami Marlins, and Norwegian Cruise Line. Experience more at sea. Let's head out to the ballpark. Here's your host, Steven Strong.
All right, nice job, Ahmed. Welcome. We're live from Nationals Park, home of the Nationals since 2008 on an 87-degree steamy Friday night in the nation's capital. You're listening to Miami Marlins baseball on the radio. It's Fox Sports 940 Miami. Game 67 of 162. This 9-game, 11-day road trip resumes tonight. 2 legs down, 1 more to go, 2-4 thus far on the trip, but an opportunity to finish strong over the weekend before heading back to the 305. We're pumped to bring you Game 1 of this 3-game NL East clash between the 30 and 38 Washington Nationals and your 25 and 41 Miami Marlins. Edward Cabrera, he gets the ball against the team he made his season debut against in 2025. Cabby will make start number 11 tonight. He will go opposite Mitchell Parker, who toes a rubber for Davey Martinez's Nationals. He'll go for the 14th time this season. First pitch slated for 6:45 right here on the Marlins Radio Network. What's going on, everyone? Thanks for joining us here. Marlins on deck. Steven Strom, Jack McMullen, and Scott Kornberg. Got an awesome show for you ahead. I fear we're going the distance, and we thank you for your participation. We'll begin tonight where both teams are at. We also have Clayton McCullough joining the program. We'll get you out of the count with Edward Cabrera, Mitchell Parker. Jack and Scott will jump in for some back and forth. Our X-Poll question of today at Marlins Radio and Steve's Guarantee to Victory. The Clayton segment went a little long, so I'm going to try to keep this tight and concise in segment 1. So let's do where both teams are at, and we'll start with the Washington Nationals. It really looked like for a moment they had turned it around. They fell to 18-27 on May 15th. They were 9 under, and they proceeded to go 10-3. They were 28-30 headed into the month of June, but they dropped 8 of their first 10 to this month. They were just swept in Queens against the Mets, and they limped back home with an offensive issue. 7 of the 10 games Washington has played less than 2 runs. They haven't scored more than 4 runs this month, and that 4-run game required extra innings. Now, for the Marlins, they're having similar issues. Their offense is dried up as well. Outside of June 7th, that 11-10 win in extra innings against Tampa, 3 runs or less in 8 of their 10 games this month. Kyle Stowers has cooled down. He was hitting 300 on May 26. He's down to 272. And Augustin Ramirez is starting to slow down as well. 5 for 39, 128 with a 355 OPS in the month of June. Now, the bright spot this month has been unequivocally getting Sandy Alcantara's swag back through the first 2 starts of June. 2 starts, 1-0, a 1.50 ERA over 12 innings. Back-to-back quality starts. The Marlins won't get Sandy this series, but it feels like a long-term win getting him back on track. We talked about the offense. We will discuss that with Clayton McCullough. How can the Marlins cultivate it tonight against Mitchell Parker plus Edward Cabrera? We are back in 2 minutes with the Marlins manager, Clayton McCullough, as we get you ready for a 6:45 first pitch right here on the Marlins Radio Network.
Found out Dane's dating this girl named Mallory. Here's 2-2. Fly ball pretty deep to left, down the line, towards the corner. It's gone! Nick Fortes cracks a scoreless game open with a long home run down the left field line. And the Marlins grab a 2-0 lead here in the third.
It looked like a worse miss than it actually was.
The 1-1. Line shot center field. That's a base hit. Lopez getting the wave around third. Here's Cruz's throw all the way in. It's offline. It gets by Davis to the third base dugout, and Wagaman takes second. So it's an RBI single for Wagaman, and he bumps up into scoring position, and Miami has a 3-0 lead here in the fourth.
Dane, I saw you were the first one in your handshake line screaming, good win. What made tonight a good win?
Yeah, been skidding a little bit. Like I've been saying since the beginning of the year, we're the fighting fish. That's a really good win. Close ball games is what we're going to have to win to be good this year, and I'm glad to see us do that.
How did Sandy set the tone for your team tonight?
Yeah, he set it from pitch one, attacking their hitters. Decent lineup over there. So for him to just attack them and trust us behind him is huge.
Over the weekend, Nick Fortes obviously had a rough Saturday. We know how bad he felt about the Weathers incident. For him to hit a home run tonight, how good did that feel as a teammate and also just a human being?
Yeah, it's huge. Like you said, 40 is kind of the glue of the team. Everybody felt bad for him, but I don't think anybody felt worse than him. So to see him come up clutch, first AB like that is pretty special.
How did you see your offense be opportunistic tonight against Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I think we just took advantage whenever they made a mistake. I like the way we took our bats. We didn't necessarily put a lot of runs up, but I felt like all that bats were competitive, and that's what you got to do to win games like these.
All right, we're rocking and rolling here on the Marlins Radio Network, getting you ready here. Third leg. It felt like we've been on the road here for 3 weeks, but here we are in Washington, D.C. Marlins manager Clayton McCullough is with us now. Father's Day on Sunday. Curious, at home, what's your dad game? Are you a goofy dad? How would your kids describe you as a dad?
I think they would probably, I'd say I'm the fun one, which isn't fair because my wife is there always doing the heavy lifting, right? And then I get to swoop in, go to school things. That's right. So I have to ensure also that I am backing up my wife with the disciplinary part, which is probably a little tougher for me. But yeah, so I would hope they would at least just say, you know what, my dad is always there to play with us and take us where we want to go.
That's a good role.
Yeah, and I found out I'm pretty sure I'm going to be coaching. Our 6-year-old wants to play basketball this winter, so she asked would I coach her basketball team. So I guess I'm going to have to get a whistle and read up on how to coach 6-year-old co-ed basketball. Yeah, that'll be way more terrifying than one of these games here.
We'll see if Clayton is a man-to-man or a zone coach. One person I am backing is Edward Cabrera. He's had a sensational month of May as we turn the page to June. We're already in the middle of June, but I'm curious. You're always talking about the consistency in him pounding the strike zone. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being a finished product, where do you guys think Edward Cabrera is right now at 27 years old?
Like, if you go this last 5 weeks or so, in this last handful of starts, I would say that I would put Edward at like a 6.5, maybe a 7. I do. I think we've seen like someone who has shown the ability to keep runs off the board. What's been most impressive to me, how he has a couple of things. One is that you can tell his conviction level to the plan that he has and the commitment level to throwing the strikes. Is that when he gives up hits, and it's, whether a pitch to location or pitch type, that his answer is, well, it was a strike. And so he's committed to that, and he's okay giving up some hits, which are going to happen. And then watching him when things get a little bit hot. And he's been in some, you get in some tight moments early in games, and the ability to not let those things snowball and turn it into, one of those where you're inside after 3 1/3, kind of, wondering, hey, what happened with the stuff I had today? When, even if you get through 5 or you get into the 6th and you leave there and your team is in the game with a chance to win it, you've done your job. So I'm really proud of how he's like kind of bowed his back in some, tight spots, and maybe not something he had done in the past, and the ability to like get out of that and minimize damage, because that's what, ultimately starting pitcher, the really good ones are able to do.
Clayton McCullough with us now on Marlins on Deck. I'm looking at the offense outside of that Tampa Bay game where you played at 11 runs. It's been 3 runs or less. We've seen this team put together, I think, 20-plus runs against this Nationals team at home a couple of weeks ago. When the offense is humming, what does it look like for you?
I think it's, for me, that it's a real high-quality at-bat with a pass-the-baton mentality, and you hate to rely and lean too much on things like 2-out RBIs and hitting with runners in scoring position. But I think when we've done well and we've capitalized in those types of spots, is that you feel like the at-bat is very much the same as it is when no one's on. Like there's not a sense of someone trying to do too much, or a little bit of panic getting in there that I have to be the one to get it done. So I think it's natural at times when, as a group or individually, you go through a little bit of a spell, or maybe you're not coming through and you feel like you have to be the one to do it. What a lot of times leads to those things turning is a real commitment to just to having a very good at bat. What is this guy most likely going to throw me right now in this particular situation? And continuing just to work a good at bat and try to stay through the middle of the field, stay inside the mix, and you let slug present itself, and not try to make everything back in one at bat or one game. So I think we've shown it a lot of times this year. We've put together rallies and we've built innings, and when we haven't finished them, for me, I think we just get a little bit outside of what we had done, to build those. My hope is that we just continue to try to have the best at bat we can and have a solid plan, whatever the situation is and what it calls for, and we take our shots and go down or win that way.
One guy in the lineup that continues to hit is Heriberto Hernandez, who we've nicknamed Bert. You've been in this league for a while. You see this with guys that come up. They have these big stretches. When does the league start to adjust? When is it different for every guy? When do you anticipate the league adjusting to someone like Bird and then him having to make that next one?
Yeah, I think we'll see. Like I said, I think at times the timing could be different for many. Bird's been up here now for a very short amount of time. It's a small sample. He certainly has performed very well and had some big moments for us already. He's on a good run now, and I'm thinking anything else. The more you continue to perform, and there's some slug in there as well, that then you're going to force people to start to dive in a little bit more, or start to access maybe some areas that they're going to look to try to exploit, and then in turn, the game of adjustments in the chess match then begins. So I think right now Bert has just been he's been very aggressive, but he's also been aggressive to good pitches to swing at, and ones at least that he can handle. They might not be the same as someone else, but fire at the ones that you have the chance for. And he's been on a good run, finding a lot of grass.
The other young man that we've seen smash baseballs, Augustin Ramirez. Everyone's tweeting us, asking questions. What's going on? His ground ball rate's at 60% now. Let's ask the manager. What have you seen from Gus, and why are you confident that he's going to make that next adjustment?
Well, very confident in Gus because there's a ton of hitting ability. I mean, we've seen how hard he hits the ball. The strikeout rate is well above average. He works when he's at his best. He's mixing in some walks. He's getting into good counts. I think, Gus's miss is probably even as a minor leaguer was on the ground. I mean, sometimes it is. It's his miss would kind of be pull side ground balls. I think we've seen now a lot of people really spin him a lot. They really are just featuring a lot of stuff away from him. They're trying to suppress some of the power, playing off some of the maybe over anxiousness right now. And so you're going to get people trying to change, go with a two-seam slider game. And I think it's getting Gus just to kind of forget about what has been. All right, the only thing is this next at bat tonight. Like when you're at your best, you're sucking people into a place where it's more middle of the plate, closer. It's elevated some, and to be okay with being down 0-1. That's better than being 0 for 1.
Very good. I thought you were going to keep going. Clayton McCullough, he's done. And I have a good feeling about this series. That was Marlins manager Clayton McCullough and Rec League future basketball coach.
You know what? Right now, at least, it's just for the offseason. You never know, man. You always got to be building out your resume, Steve.
Thank you for the time. Appreciate it. All right, we'll get you at the count coming up next. Mitchell Parker, Edward Cabrera, 6:45 first pitch, right here on the Marlins Radio Network.
Play Jacksonville. Yeah. 3-2 on Sanchez, the pitch. High fly ball, pretty deep right field. Caballero turning around, looking up, it's gone! Jesus Sanchez crushes a 3-run home run. And after a 4-run Rays second, the Marlins have come charging back with 4 here in the third. It's 4-all on Sanchez's bomb, 425 feet off the awning over the stands and right.
2-2 pitch on the way to X. And that one a ground ball right side. That's through for a base hit. Norby comes in to score. Fortes going first to third, and Caballero picks it up. He pretty much walks it back into the infield. It's an RBI single for X, and the Marlins within 1 in the 5th. It's 6-5 Rays, and that gets Kevin Cash out of the Rays dugout. 1-2. That one wandered into shallow left field. The left fielder coming on. Morel dove, and it got behind him. It just dribbled, and it died in the outfield grass in left field. But Hicks pulls into second base. He's got a 2-run double. Sanchez scores from third. Lopez scores from second. And the Marlins are pouring it on here. It's 9-6 in the top of the 5th. It's on the way. And Myers lines one into left center field. That's in for a base hit. That'll plate another run. That takes Mangum to his forehand, but his weight working back. Myers with a head-first dive into second base. He beats the relay throw, and it's an RBI double. The Marlins have hit around, and they have plated a bunch this inning. 6 across in the frame, and it's 10-6 Marlins in the 5th.
Looks at second twice. Here's his pitch. Hernandez loops it in the air. Shallow center field. It'll get down for a hit. Lopez gets the way.
As directed.
Hey, this is Anthony Bender, and you're listening to Marlins on Deck with Steven Strom on the Marlins Radio Network.
All right, don't miss a moment of Marlins action. Download the iHeartRadio app, make Fox Sports 940 the top preset, and then listen to every Marlins game. Welcome on this Friday night from the nation's capital. Steven Strom, Jack McMullen, Scott Kornberg. 6:45 first pitch. It has felt like we've been on the road for about 3 weeks, but this is the third leg of this trip. Edward Cabrera will go opposite Mitchell Parker, and let's get you ahead of the count. We'll start here with Cabrera, 27-year-old right-hander, will make his 11th start of the season. He kicks off the final leg of this 3-city road trip. He comes in with a 2-2 record, 3.99 ERA, 49 2/3 innings pitched. He'll face the team he made his season debut against, again, the Washington Nationals. He did go 5 2/3, 4 hits, 2 runs, 5 punch-outs, and 3 walks, but his most recent start was in Tampa, giving up 3 runs, 1 earned on Friday on 6 hits and 2 walks over 4 innings pitched, 63 pitches. It was 94 degrees in Tampa Bay. Thank the Lord we are not going back there. It was hot. It was incredibly humid and not the best conditions for a starting pitcher. Cabby has watched his ERA go from 7.23 to 3.99 over his last 5 starts. Career-wise against Washington, he's 2-3 with a 3.89 ERA, 7 starts, and 37 combined innings. He will go opposite Mitchell Parker, 25-year-old southpaw from New Mexico. He will take the ball for the 14th time this season. He's 4-6 with a 4.44 ERA, 13 starts, 71 innings pitched. This will be the second time he will face Miami. First time came on April 11th, 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, and a 7-4 Nationals victory. Parker had a rough May. In 5 starts, he had a 7.94 ERA and 22 2/3, but he's been better as of late. He did take the unlucky loss on Saturday against Texas, allowing 4 hits over 6 innings and allowed just 1 earned run career-wise against Miami. He's got good numbers, 1-0 with a 2.01 ERA over 4 starts. So that's your matchup on the mound. Edward Cabrera and Mitchell Parker on this Friday night from the nation's capital. We will break. We'll get Scott Kornberg and Jack McMullen on next. I got a couple of topics and storylines to discuss. That is next on the Marlins Radio Network.
Jacksonville. Yeah. 3-2 on Sanchez, the pitch. High fly ball, pretty deep right field. Caballero turning around, looking up, it's gone! Jesus Sanchez crushes a 3-run home run. And after a 4-run raised second, the Marlins have come charging back with 4 here in the third. It's 4-all on Sanchez's bomb, 425 feet off the awning over the stands and right.
2-2 pitch on the way to X. And that one a ground ball right side. That's through for a base hit. Norby comes in to score. Fortes going first to third, and Caballero picks it up. He pretty much walks it back into the infield. It's an RBI single for X, and the Marlins within 1 in the 5th. It's 6-5 Rays, and that gets Kevin Cash out of the Rays dugout. 1-2. That one wandered into shallow left field. The left fielder coming on. Morel dove, and it got behind him. It just dribbled, and it died in the outfield grass in left field. But Hicks pulls into second base. He's got a 2-run double. Sanchez scores from third. Lopez scores from second. And the Marlins are pouring it on here. It's 9-6 in the top of the 5th. It's on the way. And Myers lines one into left center field. That's in for a base hit. That'll plate another run. That takes Mangum to his forehand, but his weight working back. Myers with a head-first dive into second base. He beats the relay throw, and it's an RBI double. The Marlins have hit around, and they have plated a bunch this inning. 6 across in the frame, and it's 10-6.
Thrilled, and I'm safe. Call Loctite Impact now at 954-500-LOCK. That's 954-500-LOCK, or visit LoctiteImpact.com.
Fresh off an off day yesterday, I feel rejuvenated. I feel spry, jovial, vivacious. Welcome to the Marlins on deck here. Steven Strom, Scott Kornberg, and Jack McMullen. Take the Marlins wherever you go. Download the iHeartRadio app. Make Fox Sports 940 the top preset to listen to every Marlins game. It's game 1 of 3, the final leg road trip. Fellas, I guess I will begin with whoever wants to start. What does beyond just victories here this weekend?
Moves out sweep.
Player or just trend that you want to find the Marlins capture here?
Yeah, honestly, I think quality starts from 2 of the 3 guys. It looks like the Marlins are going to go bullpen day tomorrow.
I think good bullpen day tomorrow is going to be great, but I think quality start from Cabrera and then Yuri Perez leveling up from where he was on Monday in Pittsburgh is going to be big. The bullpen has been good. The bullpen has been reliable for the Miami Marlins. Timely hitting is going to be something to monitor and something great, but obviously hitting comes and goes. What I do believe you can control if you're Edward Cabrera is your ability to pound the strike zone today. And what I feel like Yuri can control is his ability to kind of override maybe troubles that he gets into in the 3rd or 4th inning, because that guy looked awesome through the front 2 on Monday and then started to hit the skids. I think both those guys can make a correction and get right.
Scotland?
I was going to go with pitching, but I think you nailed it right there. This offense has got to start to pick it up a little bit. They've been very low scoring recently. So to me, I'm with you that if Edward Cabrera can continue to build on what he's done the last month and change, if Yuri Perez could have a really nice second start back in the major leagues. But I think you got to support those guys too. And so there's a few guys who are slumping right now. Obviously, Augustine Ramirez would be great to get him going again. Otto Lopez has been up and down recently. Jesus Sanchez, same thing. So to get this offense back and stable and hitting to peak performance, that to me is what would be a victory besides additional victories this weekend.
Yeah, 3 runs or less in 8 of the first 10 games this month for the Miami Marlins. And you mentioned Augustine Ramirez. Just collectively, what have you guys seen from him? The ground ball rate is up, and even Clayton McCullough, when I discussed with him about Gus, he said he almost looks a little over anxious.
Yeah, I think that is absolutely something that is the case. I also feel like he's seeing more breaking pitches than he did through the front month of his major league career. And obviously there are going to be some growing pains that come with a league figuring you out. Augustine was the guy that everybody identified coming into Marlins series after his first month in Major League Baseball. It's just a fact with how he started. This guy has the makings of being a really good hitter at the major league level. And this is a game of adjustments. It is the oldest cliche in the book. So now we're watching pitching adjust to Augustine. How does Augustine adjust to pitching, and when does that happen? I bet it happens very soon. It could start happening today. Mitchell Parker is not a guy that has good breaking pitches. Augustine feasts on non-breaking pitches right now. So we could see him turn the tide as soon as today.
Scotty?
I think I'm with Jack that I just feel like he's close. He's not striking out a ton. There is contact. We saw actually some hard contact in Pittsburgh, that rocket line drive with runners on base.
Yes, that 2-0 count to right field, yes.
He's going up there hunting, and I think to what Jack just said, perhaps hunting a little bit too much. So I think you pull that back. This is a guy who's still incredibly young. He's still adjusting to life in the major leagues. This is to be expected. The nice thing is that there's been some contributions from Heriberto Hernandez that you didn't really count on. And all of a sudden, he's had a really nice start to the year. So some of these guys from AAA Jacksonville, I think people thought Ramirez was going to be really good. He started that way. Now it's about him just finding that footing. I do think it's close. And you're getting some nice little surprises like that to hopefully help the other guys get out of slumps as well.
I'm going to throw to Scotty, and then I want Jack to take it as well. But what can we expect from this Nationals team who is also struggling offensively, and they were just swept in Queens by the Mets?
Yeah, well, offensively, they've only scored 18 runs in the last 10 games. That is the lowest margin in Major League Baseball. And it's not just the lowest. 29th place Seattle is closer to 17th place than they are to 30th place. So they really can't hit right now. James Wood is about the only guy swinging the bat well in the lineup. Mitchell Parker has had a couple nice starts in a row. We'll see a really good arm on Sunday in Mackenzie Gore. But this kind of reminds me of the Pirates series, a team that doesn't score a lot of runs, and they're going to go as far as their pitching and defense can take them. Their defense is just not as strong as Pittsburgh's is, but they probably do have a really good starter going on Sunday, and overall a better bullpen.
Jack, what I take from that real quick is you don't let James Wood beat you this weekend.
No, you definitely don't. And James Wood, we saw him hit that opposite field home run to left center, the hardest place. You could argue that left center field in Miami is a top 5 hardest place to hit a home run in Major League Baseball.
Yes.
And he did it. That is a left-handed hitter, so he went the other way doing that. I wouldn't pitch to James Wood all weekend, to be totally honest with you. And I think that front two of Abrams and Wood, I am being incredibly careful with because, frankly, over the last month of Washington Nationals baseball, like the 3, 4, 5, 6 through 9 hitters have not proven that they can beat you right now. So if James Wood beats you, I feel like Clayton McCullough is going to toss and turn at night. If Keibert Ruiz beats you, or if Nathaniel Lowe or Josh Bell beats you, I think you can live with that right now because they're scuffling to the level that they are.
Scott, I think this is an interesting game with one storyline that's going to stick out. Tomorrow's a bullpen game for the Marlins. So I think through Clayton McCullough's decisions from the dugout, we're going to start to reveal who we should anticipate tomorrow. But how do you think this plays out from an arms perspective? Say Cabby gives you, 5 innings, what she's given you almost every single outing this season.
Yeah, I would be surprised if you were to see Valente Belloso today because in theory he could be a guy, or Jansen Junk, right? If one of those guys goes today, that probably is a signal on if they're not going to start tomorrow, they're the bulk guy for tomorrow's game. So the hope is that you don't have the situation like the bullpen day before in Tampa where Ryan Weathers only went 3 innings and you had to still cover 7 innings because of extra innings that day and you're really scrambling. The The bullpen is in amazing shape right now because not only did you have the off day yesterday, they've had some really good pitching performances 2 days in a row from the starting rotation before that. And so that bullpen kind of was able to regain their footing. So, yeah, my guess is that a bulk guy, you won't see one of them, and that would maybe lead you to say that guy could pitch tomorrow.
All right, these guys are sharp. You guys passed the test. We're going to go to break here. We'll hear Scott and Jack at 6:45, but they might have to rejoin for our hometown hero over the weekend for the Miami Marlins. They're going to have to give me a name, so I'll give you 2 minutes to think about it, and then we'll come back on the Marlins Radio Network.
Found out Dane's dating this girl named Mallory. Here's 2-2. Fly ball pretty deep to left, down the line, towards the corner. It's gone! Nick Fortes cracks a scoreless game open with a long home run down the left field line. And the Marlins grab a 2-0 lead here in the third.
It looked like a worse miss than it actually was.
The 1-1. Line shot center field. That's a base hit. Lopez getting the wave around third. Here's Cruz's throw all the way in. It's offline. It gets by Davis to the third base dugout, and Wagaman takes second. So it's an RBI single for Wagaman, and he bumps up into scoring position, and Miami has a 3-0 lead here in the fourth.
Dane, I saw you were the first one in your handshake line screaming, good win. What made tonight a good win?
Yeah, been skidding a little bit. Like I've been saying since the beginning of the year, we're the fighting fish. That's a really good win. Close ball games is what we're going to have to win to be good this year, and I'm glad to see us do that.
How did Sandy set the tone for your team tonight?
Yeah, he set it from pitch one, attacking their hitters. Decent lineup over there. So for him to just attack them and trust us behind him is huge.
Over the weekend, Nick Fortes obviously had a rough Saturday. We know how bad he felt about the Weathers incident. For him to hit a home run tonight, how good did that feel as a teammate and also just a human being?
Yeah, it's huge. Like you said, 40 is kind of the glue of the team. Everybody felt bad for him, but I don't think anybody felt worse than him. So to see him come up clutch, first AB like that is pretty special.
How did you see your offense be opportunistic tonight against Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I think we just took advantage whenever they made a mistake. I like the way we took our bats. We didn't necessarily put.
Stream now.
We're almost ready to lift off here on the Marlins Radio Network. Just before 6:30. Now it is 6:30, so we're 15 minutes away from first pitch here on the Marlins Radio Network. Fox Sports 940 Miami. Ahmed back in the studio, clicking the ones and twos. I'm Steven Strom, host of the program here. Jack McMullen and Scott Kornberg are with me as well. Those two have your call. So let's housekeep here. The Marlins dropped 2 out of 3 against the Tampa Bay Rays in what was a hot and steamy series. They then pivoted and went to Pittsburgh. Sandy Alcantara delivered another quality start, but the Marlins did drop 2 out of 3. So a 2-4 road trip thus far. We have 3 remaining. An opportunity with a sweep, of course, to come back to the 305 with an above 500 road trip. Tonight, Edward Cabrera will go opposite Mitchell Parker, and for Cabby, he's been pretty darn good, and he's been pretty darn consistent. We've seen the bad Cabrera, we've seen the good Cabrera, we've seen the dominant Cabrera, we've seen the scary Cabrera, but we have seen here in 2025 a consistent Cabrera. We kind of know what to expect at this point. He's dropped the walks, he's increased the innings, not to the point where you probably want him to go 6, we want him to get to 6 quality start era, but right now for Edward Cabrera, it's been good enough. 5 innings, 3 runs or less, and really put this team in a position to win. He will go opposite Mitchell Parker here tonight at 6:45. Let's get to our Expo question today at Marlins Radio. It's funny. I was walking into the stadium today, and I saw old friend Josh Bell. You think of Josh Bell with the Marlins, you think 2023 in that playoff run where the Marlins won 84 games, and Jake Berger and Josh Bell were a big part of it. I was thinking, man, who did the Marlins trade for Josh Bell? That's our Expo question today. 2 guys. Who did the Marlins trade for Josh Bell back in 2023 from the Cleveland Guardians? Jack, do you know? Scott, do you know? Go ahead. Open up the headset. Who was it?
I know it, but do you want me to say it?
Give me one of them.
Do you want the prospect or you want the player?
Ooh, look at you.
Wow.
Say it with your chest out, man. Give me the prospect.
I'll give you the initials. The player's initials were JS,
Yep.
and the prospect's initials were KW.
Good job.
Yep.
Okay. So hometown hero, guys. I'll start. Well, you can do the singer right now, man. Let's do Steve's Guarantee plus the boys jumping in here.
Batter up. Batter up.
Let's play some ball.
First pitch is moments away.
Buckets.
Time now for Steve's Guarantees.
All right, the ears are bleeding right now, but that's okay. Steve's Guarantee. There's two things I got. First, Bert. And Roberto Hernandez.
Bert.
I mean, come on, hitting 410 right now. I know it's a small sample size, but he's back in the lineup again. It's funny, he's actually towards the bottom of the order. He's been the Marlins' hottest hitter as of late. I like him to pick up an extra base hit. I keep going back to the well, Connor Norby. I actually like Connor Norby to hit an extra base hit, and I fear he might go yard today. That's my Steve's Guarantees tonight. Fellas, who's our hometown weekend hero?
Scott, you first.
Or our road warrior. Why am I saying hometown? Our road warrior over the weekend.
It's Dane time. It's Dane Myers.
Ooh,
so
Dane time.
Yeah, Dane time.
I love that. Augustine.
Okay.
I love the way that this fastball works into Augustine Ramirez. Again, Mitchell Parker does not really have the feel for a breaking ball right now, and I love Augustine to hammer a fastball today.
All right, love it, fellas. Folks, I hope you got the itch for first pitch because when we come back, Jack McMullen, he paints the picture. Scott Kornberg, he's ready to rock. Starting lineups and first pitch is right around the corner. Thanks for tuning in to the Marlins On Deck pregame show. I'm Steven Strom. Let's flip the M together, Miami. Marlins baseball. It's next on the Marlins